Hey everyone, welcome to a new video, welcome to my channel. My name is Maaike. Today we are going to be applying a full face of e.l.f. Yeah, that's right, that's what we will be doing in today's video. So I hope you enjoyed that. It's a video I've been promising for like over a month, but it's finally here. So I do hope you enjoy. So what I've done is I have a full face of e.l.f. here for you. The only thing I don't have is mascara because I'm a little bit like weird about trying different mascaras from the ones I usually use, and I have my like double priming combo that I use every day. But everything else, from face primer to like hopefully a setting eyeshadow primer, as well as eyeshadow, lipsticks, face stuff, it's all here. So I'm just going to be sort of going through this for you and show you swatches as we go along. For me, a lot of these products are the first times trying them. I haven't tried any like real e.l.f. products for quite some time. The only things that are here that aren't new to me are the lipsticks, and I have this little face palette because over here, while we can now get e.l.f., the line is quite limited that we have access to, so I couldn't really find a good bronzer or a good blush. So that's why I'm going to go to something that I know I love. So let's just get started with this makeup look. And my first step is always face primer, and I've got two for you here. I have the famous Putty Primer, but this is not right for me to use all over my face. So I also have this, and this looked really interesting. This seems to be a little bit like Korean makeup inspired, it seems. This is the e.l.f. Beauty Shield with SPF 50. And it's the skin shielding primer. So I think this is sort of like in between a skincare and a priming step. So you can either use it as just an SPF on its own, and you can use it as a primer. So I'm going to be applying this as my all over face primer, and then the Putty Primer I'm going to apply around here because I do have some larger pores like right here on the tip of my nose. And I also have like a little bit of like larger pores here next to my nose. So that's where I will be applying that. But let's just apply this first. Again, I think this has a tint to it now that I see it. The only thing I've done with all of these products is swatch it. So let's see how this comes out. Ooh, yeah. Do you see that? Do you see how that's quite dark? So let's see how this applies. I'm not sure if I need any more. Ooh, this is quite thick. This is almost like a true base already. Like, do you see how much redness that covered in one go? And I was afraid it would be too dark. It has a bit of a scent to it, it seems. Not too crazy. I think this may be nice for like, even like in the summertime to just use this as a base, but I do feel you need quite a bit of this because this doesn't go a very long way. Yeah, most definitely. You can definitely use this on its own because it actually has a really nice evening out property to it. But again, this is already my third pump of this. So, not the most economical product, and it's also one of the more expensive products in e.l.f.'s line. But hey, if this does like SPF at the same time, I have no idea whether that will work because right now it's January, so we have no sun. And then with my fingers, I'm going to be applying this Putty Primer. I'm going to use it here. I do feel that that other primer did a really good job of sort of already evening things out. I couldn't really notice a lot of the pores anymore. But this definitely sort of, like, I can see why people like it. It's just, I don't think it really is what I need in a primer, this Putty Primer. Like, I've tried this once or twice before, and it's just, I think that in the summertime, if you really want to combat oils, it can be quite nice. But what I need and like from a primer is just all the hydration I can get. So for me, something that's a bit more skincare like this, I would go for a lot more over this. But it's a classic, so I wanted to use it in this video. But we're not done priming yet because I like to use a separate primer for my eyelids. So I bought the very cheap and cheerful e.l.f. eyeshadow primer. And does this even have a shade? It's called Sheer. I don't know. I'm not sure if this works. I've never tried this before. So we'll see. Okay. It's got a nice consistency. It's got a bit of a tint to it as well, but it doesn't do much in terms of really blocking out my lid though. So that's a bit of a shame. That's not what I was expecting. I think it makes a little bit of a difference, but not too much. And I don't think this comes with a whole lot of product either. Yeah, this is 3 mils of product. So this is something I think you can go through quite quickly, especially if it does work. Then this is the kind of thing that I would like to use up in the end. But now we can move on to the rest of my base. And this is the e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation. I got mine in the shade Snow. I wasn't really sure what shade to get. Seems to be an okay match. Comes with a nice pump. This is pretty cheap and cheerful, but I do believe that you only get... Yeah, you only get 20 mils of product, so this is not as much as a standard foundation would get you. So if I pump this out, so that's 2 pumps right there. Looks a bit dark, but we'll just apply it to the face and see how it wears. Okay, so this feels quite thick. So I hope it blends out well. It does feel nice and rich. Like I can see this being quite hydrating and not too like drying on the skin. It does feel quite promising. Let's see how it blends out. Oh, the shade is a nice match. You see that? It's not too light as it blends out. I think that can work out. So I like foundations that are a little bit lighter than what you might see here because I've got quite a lot of redness in my face. But if I match it here, because I don't have much of a jawline, I need it to actually be light enough to match me here. And that means that I usually need to go for a shade lighter than what it would look like around my nose. Again, this smells fragrant. It has a nice scent. It's a pleasant scent, but not one that I think I really need in a product. That blends out quite well with a sponge, I have to say. Nice even layer. But yeah, it is a little bit thick. And around my nose, it's not looking the best already. Like over here now between my brows, I've got quite a lot of pores now all of a sudden, which I usually don't see. But okay, we're still going to apply the rest of our base because I also have a concealer here. This is the 16-hour Camo concealer. This is not yet the hydrating version. I haven't been able to find it yet. This is in the shade Fair Beige. And when I first tried this, as in swatching it, I felt this was really, really thick. So that's what it looks like on the back of my hand. And if I start blending this out, it just feels very stiff. And I think that, as you can see here, a little goes a very long way. So I'm just going to dot this onto my under eye area, my nose, my chin, my forehead, and then over here and next to my nose. That's where I usually apply concealer. Let's see if it will blend. Yeah, so those little dots, that's definitely enough to make this work. But can you see what it does? As you sort of try to use your sponge to blend it in, it kind of lifts off the product and then deposits it somewhere else. So that's not great, because if you wear something that's a bit more lightweight underneath, see that? You just kind of stamp it round rather than blending it in, which I don't like because it could potentially move around your foundation if it does that. So it's a bit, do you see that? It's just going all over my face. No, e.l.f., I don't like that. And it's very light. like to the point where it looks gray. I don't like this shade at all. Oh no. I mean, on camera it looks okay, but in real life, where I applied the concealer, I now have a huge gray cast. Like, I've never had that with any concealer before in my life. And oh, this is so difficult to blend in. Like, it will not go into my inner corner at all here. Okay, now this other side. I have to push so hard to make this concealer blend. Oh no, it won't blend. It just won't. And this as well, like, gray cast. Ooh. You see that again here? It just won't go into that little corner right there. And I can sort of feel it as my sponge goes into it. I can sort of feel it sticking to the concealer first and then lifting it off. It's like, it feels very thick too, really heavy. Like, if I feel this area of my face now, like just what it feels like, I can sort of feel it like going like this, like gripping on. Might mean that it lasts really well. Right, so looking down in the mirror here, I think that overall it looks okay. I think that now that I've really tried to work to blend it in, that it's okay, but I don't like how it feels over here. It also looks super crepey on my under eye, so I hope that this will be fine, but this feels super drying, like super drying. I do want to set the face because I do want it to last. I'm not sure if it's gonna last, but this is the Perfect Finish HD powder, and this is their pressed version because I just prefer pressed powder, so I thought we could try that. It's very white, very stark, so if this adds any more lightness to my face, this will be interesting. Alright, so I'm just using my trusty Sigma brush for this. This is the F25. Okay, so this is a finely milled powder. And it's not adding any coverage. Oh wow, that concealer is oxidizing on me. Oh, do you see that? That concealer is already starting to crepe right here. I never have that with any concealer I try. I think this concealer may be much too drying for me. Do you see how much kick up I have? Like, I'm covered in powder. Just covered in powder. I don't like this at all. This is whew, a little bit too finely milled perhaps, but it does with these kind of powders sometimes work. If they are a little bit more, like, if they have a bit more kick up, just is. Moving on then to brows. And for brows, I have two different products. I have the brow pencil. This is in that white packaging, classic e.l.f. I think this retails for like €1.50. It's like the cheapest brow product I've ever tried. But I also have their Brow Wow. It's one of those like fibery sort of like Benefit Gimme Brow kind of dupes, it seems. So I like those. And if they are much more affordable than the Benefit one, then I'm happy because I'm now currently using the Benefit one for the first time in my life. And I'm not a fan. Not a fan. I prefer my Essence one. So this is in the shade, what's this brow product? In Taupe. And it seems to be a little bit dark. That's a little bit darker than I would usually go for a taupe pencil, but oh well. Let's see how it goes. So this packaging feels incredibly cheap. I'm not gonna lie. It seems to be getting the job done. I mean, my brows are currently in the most atrocious state because I had them done professionally over the summer and then they made them way too skinny. So I decided to let them grow back fully before going back and sort of getting them done again. So right now I just want to quickly fill them in. and nothing more. I think that looks okay, but I do need to be very careful. Like if I go too heavy with this, then it will look crazy. And I just have some bold patches. And that's like 50% of my brow hairs are blonde. So I just want to make them a little bit darker so that my brows just look a bit more defined. But that's really all I want. All right. So nothing too offensive. This is definitely something that I could potentially use up, but it does, like, this is a darker brow than I normally go for because this is way too dark compared to my hair color. And then we have this Brow Wow product, which is also in the shade taupe. And this seems to be a lot lighter than the pencil. Oh, this is okay. Like if this makes my brows look nice and fluffy for most of the day, then I'm okay. I mean, I don't think that you need to splurge, Anastasia, price points on brow products. I mean, I do get it if you have a very particular hair color, but if you just want to go for like a taupe or a brown or something that's a bit darker, then I think that at a drugstore you can find really good ones. Right, so that's done. Brows done. Face done. Is it looking any worse? Oh, do you see that? I tried zooming you in a little bit, but it's already starting to separate. Oh. Now we're moving on to the rest of the face, and this is the reason why I wanted to do a full face of e.l.f. because this is one of my favorite products. I love this for travel. This is one of their face palettes, but I do have to say that I cobbled this together using 3 of them because you can customize these. So they do a like bronzer contour palette, they do a highlight palette, they do different blush palettes in this line, and I decided to combine the 3 that I had and sort of make my custom palette, and I now use this for travel and it's great. So I'm going to be using the bronzer, so the lighter one of the 2, and the blush from this. I'm currently not really into contouring, so I won't be using that. And I'm not going to be using the highlight because I have this. This is brand new to their line, and it seems to be one of those like jelly texture kind of products. This is their highlighter in white gold. I'm not entirely sure what the name is of the product, but I thought this looked stunning. And let me swatch this for you. It feels a bit dry and tough, but there you have it. And that's that highlight. Like, it's super blinding and metallic, so I'm very, very excited for that. So let's first go in with bronzer though. I do have to say that I don't like the pen size of this. I'd like it to be a little bit bigger for this big brush. And this is a Sigma, no, this is a crown brush, and this is the Large Duo Face Brush C406. So that's the bronzer on. I think it looks pretty nice and natural. It does add a bit of color to your face, so I like that. But now it's time for what I hope will be the star of today's show, the highlighter. So I'm using quite a dense brush with this because it seems to be a bit stiff. So let's see if we can pick up enough of this product. Sadly, it emphasizes texture quite a bit. So that's a bit of a shame because I'm now seeing all of the little bumps here on my face in like so much stronger, and I don't really see that much of a glow. Like this just, it adds a white cast. That's all it does. Oh no, I wanted to love you so much. Like there's a bit of a glow, but if you see that swatch and what you get on the face with the densest highlighter brush I own, no, it's a bit weak. Let's see if we can layer that other highlighter that's in this palette then over it, because maybe that can save the day. Remember this being a lot more subtle though, but this is a much softer texture, so probably a lot more powdery. Is that, see, that adds more glow. Aww. But it also has more like of a base pigment to it, so I feel that you can sort of see it sitting there. And that, my dear friends, is why I always go in with blush last. If your highlight sort of makes you look a little bit weird, you can save the day by applying your blush over it. So I'm now going to be applying this one here. And this is just a really nice, like, bright poppy shade that it's a bit of a coral. It works really well. So that is the face done. I think this looks really well. I do have to say that this highlight was a bit disappointing. It seems to be really emphasizing my like texture on my cheeks, which I have a bit of. But now it's time for eyes, and this I'm super excited for because I got my hands on the e.l.f. Earth and Ocean palette. They're doing this here right now, and when I swatched this, I was amazed. Let me just show you a few of these shimmers. This is Tundra, which is like a silver metallic, and Lagoon. Like Lagoon doesn't look that impressive, but Tundra has so much like creamy texture to it. Like this is almost like a cream to powder. And some of these just look very impressive. Super shiny, super pretty. Pretty good pigmentation as well, especially that Tundra shade. And so I think I definitely want to work in some of these blues, like this shade right here called Underwater is just speaking my name, and that's also super creamy. Like look at that pigmentation right there. I know I want to use that shade for sure. So I tried to zoom you in. I hope it will stay in focus. Fingers crossed. This is the first time filming a makeup tutorial on my new camera, so we'll see how it goes. So yeah, I'm going to be using this lovely e.l.f. palette. And I just want to use some of these like blues and greens. So this shade right here seems to be a great transition shade. So I'm going to be using Mojave Mommy. So this is a nice transition. I do have to say that the blendability of this, like it's okay. I think that I see this blend better in real life than I see it blend on camera, if that makes sense. Like it seems to have a patch over here, but in real life it doesn't. I think we have a good enough blend on that, but now I want to go in with these fun shades. I think that Underwater is going to go on the lower lash line. So I think I just want to go in with these two like more cool tone blues. So I'm going to be using this Abyss in the crease and then in the outer V in the crease, and then this shade right here called Siren. I want to use that all over the lid. So I'm going to go in with the Zoeva, what's this called, 231 Petite Crease Brush. Ooh, look at that pigmentation, how much it picks up on the brush. Tap it off. And now we're going to push this into the outer V. So this eyeshadow is so soft that you do have to be very careful with where you place it, I feel, because it sort of blends itself, and if you get it in the wrong spot, I feel it just goes everywhere. So now we're going to go in with Siren, and I'm going to be using a flat shader brush for this. This is the Sigma E55. I definitely need to go in with fingers because with a brush, for some reason, this is a bit difficult to pick up and go on evenly. So I need to go in with a finger with this because it doesn't really seem to be going on very smoothly with a brush, because I think because it's such a creamy texture, a brush just has difficulty picking it up. So I'm just going to smooth it out with my finger. I think it looks a bit like a really dark, like it looks like a black. It's called Trenches, so let's see if we can use this as a bit of liner just to deepen up the lash line. That worked quite well. It's dark enough to deepen something up like that. And now what I would like to do is take these two shades here, Underwater and Drip Drip, onto the lower lash line. So first Underwater. Then now I'm going to sort of rub my brush here so that all of the color is off. And I'm going to take that bright blue Drip Drip Such a fun name. And I'm going to use that on the lower lash line. Like, these blues are so stunning. I love it. So before I finish off my eyes with mascara, I'm going to be using this. This is the e.l.f. Dewy Setting Mist. I've never used a dewy setting mist before, so I hope this is okay. Ooh, oh, that's a very fine mist. And it does smell, again, pretty fragrant. So let's see how this works. Ooh, very wet. Very wet, and it's droplets. It's not a very fine mist at all. It looks like a fine mist coming out at first, but as it hits your face, you can sort of feel the drops not really covering your face equally. I'll be right back. I'm first going to be applying mascara. Right, so that's the eyes done, and all we have left is lips, and I have two of these, like, what are these called? Matte lip colors. And I have one in Hot Commodity and one in Tea Rose. And since this is quite a cool tone look, I'll go in with Tea Rose, because Hot Commodity is like a bright coral, which corals and blues do go together quite well. So I think I'll go with Tea Rose. I think that's a bit more up my street. These I love, these I like. I already have this. Tea Rose is one of my favorite very pale nudie shades, so... Oh, I forgot to put in an inner corner highlight. Ha! Completely forgot, but let's just use salt water. It seems to be really interesting, like bluey duochrome shade. So I put on some salt water real quickly, so that's this shade right here. It's like a really nice bluey duochrome kind of shade. But yeah, I'm super excited for this eyeshadow palette. It seems to have really nice pigmented quality. I quite like the brow products, but they're not my favorites. The powder is a little powdery. The foundation and the concealer, I'm not convinced. Now that everything is on, and especially if I look at myself on camera, it looks quite nicely. But in real life, I mean, the lines on my forehead. So the base products do not have me convinced. I think that if you have oilier skin, these can be really nice. But for my dry skin, nope. It already looks horrible, and this has only been on my face for like 30 minutes. Yeah, I think my two favorite products here are this primer and this eyeshadow palette, but I definitely have to try the primer more with other products to see if maybe all of this creasing and horribleness isn't caused by this. I still need to check that, but I think it's these two. I'm not a fan, you guys. Sorry. So yeah, that's it. That's the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked this. I may, if this is successful and if you like this, so let me know in a comment down below. I may want to do one of these every month and like choose a different brand. I already have the next one planned for February, and then I want to do a full face of Asian makeup brands because I'm very curious. But I could definitely do like a full face of like Urban Decay or Maybelline or like other brands that I love, Catrice, Essence, like I could do those as well. So let me know in a comment down below what you would like to see next if I want to do another full face in makeup, and then we can chat about that. So thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you in my next video, and subscribe if you'd like to stay tuned and watch 3 new videos every week. Bye for now.